Hey everybody, it's the Redstone Wizard here again, bringing you another Redstone tutorial. This time what I got for you is a mass crafter. Yep, being able to quickly get the items, a lot of the items, and craft up whatever you want. Now, there's only one little thing that this is going to have trouble dealing with, and that is dispensers. And that's just because of the non-stack items. In fact, anything that requires a non-stackable, this system is going to have trouble dealing with. So, but in this side of this barrel, I've got enough blocks, 7 stacks of all the stuff to craft up pistons inside the boxes. Now, you don't have to set them in any specific order. You can set them up where like I say, in any order, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that you keep the same ones inside. So, and also this will have enough time to be able to process. So now I'm in creative. In here, I'm missing 7 stacks. All you have to do is stand here and hit the button, go into the crafting, go into the lookup item, look up craftables, type in what you're going to craft, and then right here, if you have the capabilities of setting up macros, use it. If not, you're fine. Because all we're going to do is just, because I'm playing on a mouse and keyboard, I'm going to be using those terms. Use shift click. So as soon as we get the items in, just enough to start crafting, we're going to start crafting. Boom. Done. And then I'm just going to take the time, put them in there, go back, wait for a few more moments. Before the next set processes, we will get typically 3 stacks. Now, this does have one major flaw because of how hoppers are, but it is fairly reliable. Because we are just taking and throwing minecarts into lava, so to speak, and breaking them. And the hopper picks it up. But how we're doing it is what's causing the issue. But, so, all we're going to do is just craft up. As we get more and more of them, you'll get all the boxes back. We're missing some wood. And there we go. We got enough. We got everything. So 2 stack. Cheap one just to be able to use it. And we have ourselves our 9 boxes. All emptied. All ready for whatever else we want to use them for. All you have to do is just walk over here. Collect your items. And off you go. Let's go back to creative. And let me clear my inventory. And then we'll just come over here because all of them are based around this. Now, occasionally, and I do mean occasionally, I ran this hundreds of times to see how many times I would classify it breaks. Out of the hundreds of times, it broke once. So it's pretty resilient, pretty reliable, especially since I made a few changes. But I've got a full stack. I got a shulker box inside this dispenser with these items in it. Now, if we take a look at how it processes, first, the order we have to do in a specific order. We have to dispense the shulker, which is what this piston and observer does. Then we have to dispense the minecart. Now, while this system doesn't have any shulkers being on display here, the system will not allow a minecart to process. So if I put a block here, no minecart. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Now, if I let that finish processing, like it should, this part will always process, but no minecarts will be launched, and so it won't constantly cycle, have a greater chance of breaking. But as soon as this piston, I'm using a lever here just to show you guys what happens. First one, the shulker box gets the spins. This comparator reads it, pulling this redstone block away from this dropper, this dispenser, allowing us to move the minecart. And when it's empty, this one is just designed to break that piston. So then, and this is ready to go as soon as we flip it, the minecart runs off. Now if we look at the hopper, you notice it's picking up things pretty fast, but it does still take a while. Yes, you could probably reduce the amount of time by increasing the speed, but I added that delay in just so that you can have the time to be able to throw it inside of the shulker box. And then it does it again. It's going to keep going until it all processes. Now, if we look inside this hopper here, this hopper's locked. Now, tendencies is the minecart comes in, and because of how the system is set up, this hopper only gets unlocked for a few moments, where the minecart will be put in there and stays in there for 4 redstone ticks before it has a chance to do anything else. Minecart stays, backs up, and stays locked. Now the reason why is because we're locking this hopper too, keeping one there. And we're processing, giving it enough time so that if this happens to double pulse, this redstone will not, the items you're collecting will not process. Now, if the minecart happens to not be there when the shulker box breaks, because if it's there, it's going to pick it up. But if it breaks and it's not there, the powder snow cuts down the momentum and drops it right onto the stair, which pushes it right into the water stream with the rest of these items. And that is pretty much how the system works. And so let's see here. How much more do we got? Yeah, let's take out a few more. Yeah. Boom. And then when it comes out, minecart's still there. And if we collect all of this and look at my inventory, I've got everything. So, what do you say, guys? Let's get to building this thing. All right, everybody, we're back. And like always, everything we need to build that is inside the shulker boxes. So, and if you want to build something like that, you're going to have to take this and multiply it by 9. So let's take a look at what we need. You're going to need 11 dust, 3 blocks of redstone, 6 torches, 6 repeaters, 6 comparators, 12 observers, 1 regular piston, 6 sticky pistons, 1 target block, 7 droppers. I recommend using 1, and you're going to need 2 dispensers, 1 solid block that an observer can detect, and 2 other blocks that an observer detects. So I'm using just dispensers, and I'm going to put it in bone meal in them, in 3 of them, to keep them silent. 8 hoppers, 1 string, 1 activator rail, 1 regular rail, 1 powered rail, 1 slab block, 25 random items. You need about a stack of whatever blocks you want. I usually use glass if it's something that doesn't have to be powered. But you're going to need 21 solid blocks. 8 packed ice. Some of them can be changed for air, but this is pretty much if you're building it in the middle. 2 stairs, 1 solid block that can't be moved by a slime block, 2 scaffolding, 1 fence gate, 1 lava, 1 thing of powdered snow. Bring a couple of buckets of water. You're going to need a few of them. I recommend making an infinite water source. 2 minecarts and 4 non-stackable items. Okay. So now with that, what we're going to do is we're going to place a block down. Then we're going to take our droppers and we're going to stack up 6 on top of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And pick a direction to place a dispenser. Now, it doesn't matter which direction you pick. In fact, actually, I'm going to make it where it comes out this way. Actually, no. Come out that way. Yeah, this way. Just to show that you can have it in multiple directions. So then from here, we're going to take our block that can be detected, our solid block that the observer can see, and put it in 1 block away with an observer. Then we will grab our comparators, place it on top of the observer, a dust on top of your block that can be detected. Let me grab some bone meal. In fact, actually, I'm just going to advanced pick block that. And on the side, we're going to place a torch and a solid block on it, which will create a burnout clock. Now, we're going to grab our hoppers. We're going to place a hopper going into the side and 2 going out, away from the solid block. Then we're going to put 1 pointing into nothing. It doesn't matter which direction you point it, as long as it is pointing into nothing. Then we are going to grab a temporary block, place it on top of the hopper, surround that hopper, surround it completely, because we're going to put water there. But this one, we're going to put ice, the one closest to the dropper tower. Our dropper vader, and we're going to place another one. Now, below that, we're going to place another one, and 1 going up. Grab your bucket of lava, place it in there, and cover that up. Now grab your observers, place 1 on top of the dust, 1 going into the dropper. Then, let me get my dispenser. Place it on top of that. Place your detector on top of that. Observer. Detector. Observer. Observer. This will allow, this will get the item all the way to the very top. So now we're going to place our glass, another set here and here and here. So 3 in a row. This is just to block water. Grab your stairs, place 1 here and 1 here. I recommend just placing glass in these spots, and that's just more for control and appearance. This one's not required. This one's a good idea. So I recommend just having the one with the good idea. Now, grab your water buckets. Place a water bucket there and let it flow all the way to the end. Break. Place another water bucket there. Now, grab your rails. We're going to place a regular rail on top of the hopper. Underneath any rail that you want, these ones you will get back. Place 1 there. And on this bottom hopper, we're going to place another with any rail. Break that, and break this rail here. Now we've got our minecart yeeter. So if I just take and place a minecart in here, boom, it'll break, get collected, pop out, and dispensed out. We'll just leave that there. So now we got that set up. Let's continue finishing this up. We're going to take our redstone block, place it next to this top hopper. Next to this glass that I have here, we're going to place a sticky piston with a slime block on it. Then under here on this hopper, we are going to take and place a solid block, any block next to it with a solid block in front of it. Grab your comparators, your repeaters, and your torches. A repeater here with a torch behind it, and a comparator going into this block. Now we're going to encase this, but because we are using a torch here to power this, and we have a slime block there, we don't want this to move at all. So we're going to just leave it there. We're going to use, I'm using glazed terracotta. Then we're going to cover that up right next to the hopper, right next to the comparator, right next to this hopper, right next to the redstone block. Then we're going to grab 2 buckets of water. We're going to place one waterlogging this hopper and this repeater, which will fill in that comparator. Now, we don't have any flowing water, so the water will not change where the minecart goes, but it's getting destroyed, so we're fine there. Now under here, we're going to place, leaving a black gap, any block you want, and a block next to it. Take your comparator, place it here, a solid block here. Repeater coming out of this solid block on 4 ticks with a piece of dust. Now grab your hopper, your droppers and your hoppers. Dropper pulling out of the signal getting red from the comparator, and a hopper on top, and throw any random item inside of that bottom one. Now we're going to prep our system, but not all the way. We're going to throw 1 minecart in and 4 non-stackables, and in here we're going to wait. So now what we're going to do is place a glass block here, take our observers, place an observer on top of that, and our 1 string on the face of that. Now we can encase this to prevent any of the blocks from moving where we don't want, any of those blocks moving from where we don't want. And we can go up on these. Next, we're going to take our redstone block. We're going to place 1 here and 1 here. Now that we got a redstone block there, we could just throw this minecart in there. Now what happens is when that minecart gets dispensed and put right in here, it's going to wait, pull out, shoot back up here, and if the shulker box is empty, it's going to hold it there, so we're not getting a full cycle. We're going to place any block we want there, and a solid block right here, and behind that, a 3-tick repeater. Grab our observer, place it going there with a solid block on it. Now, next to this observer, right behind this, we're going to place a sticky piston with a sticky piston going at an angle, going towards the back, and down here, we're going to place another sticky piston going down. Grab your observers, put 1 here, going towards the center, and 1 here. Now, we need to take and place a glass block here. This is to stop the minecart. Grab your scaffolding. Place 1 here and 1 here. Grab your rails, your activator and your powered rails. On the redstone block, we're going to place the activator rail. This will prevent the minecart from pushing items into the hopper. And a powered rail here. This will launch the minecart. A solid block above that. Grab your 1 piston. Place it on top of the dispenser with a solid block behind it. Grab your comparators. Throw it right on top of the scaffolding with a solid block and a torch on the side going towards these two pistons. That will do the breaking of the box and prevention of the minecart from leaving. Place a temporary block there. Grab your dispenser, your last dispenser. Place it there. You can take that out. In case some of this, just to keep control, and it's always good to have control, grab your powdered snow bucket and place it right here. Now we're going to take a solid block, place it on here, one going down and one going over around the block, and one on top of the sticky piston. We're going to place dust here and dust here with a solid block going to the dust with a 2-tick repeater. Now, we've got our reset line set. We have our yeeter collection system set. We have our start systems. We have our prep to start system. As in we have our stop system. So we're going to take a solid block, place it here. We can place any block we want with a solid block. We're going to set a 3-tick repeater here with a torch on the side of this solid block. We're going to place 2 blocks there, 1 block here. We're going to throw a comparator on here and here. And what we're going to do is make this look like an etho hopper clock. There. And then 2 hoppers going into each other between 2 comparators. Enough like an etho hopper clock. We're going to place a dust here. And a target block on this first hopper, which will lock the hopper, and a torch going next to that hopper. This will lock this hopper when this torch is off. Now take your last 24 items and throw them in the system. Now grab your sticky piston and place it here with a solid block so the comparator can power it. Now, all we have to do is take this and based around where you're moving them to. If you want them to come out to this side, do that. If you want to have them come out to this side, do that. If it's in the middle, do that. That's fine. Either way, all 3 are correct. But we're going to have to place a glass block in there so the water doesn't seep out. 2 blocks there, leaving a gap. And fill this in. And then create your water streams like I did over there. Then, from here, we need to take and place a sticky piston going at an angle from this block with an observer on its face and a solid block on top of this powdered snow. Now, because I like to have everything as closed off as I can get it, that's how I'm going to do that. I don't want someone inadvertently coming in here and messing with the system. Make it as hard for someone that doesn't know what they're doing to get in here and mess around with it. They'll have to break things. So then, the last thing we're going to do is, behind this sticky piston, we're going to place a solid block. And in line with this solid block, we're going to place another block with a torch on it. That will extend this piston. Then I'm just going to connect them. I have an extra one over here. You can have it over here. It doesn't matter. Because the most important part is that these 5 blocks get dust on them. Then you're going to take a repeater on either side, on both of these sides. If this is the end, if this is your end line, you don't need to add a repeater. If this is your beginning, you don't need to add a repeater here. It's based on the direction that you will be pushing the button. And all it is just send a 1-tick pulse through 4-tick repeaters. It will make the system run if you're doing all of it. So now that we got that set, the clock set, everything is actually good to go. So, last thing to do is place a hopper. And just because I feel like it, let me grab a barrel. Because you don't have to use a barrel, you can use whatever you want. But the barrel looks, you can actually use the bottom of the barrel like this in the pattern to make the floor look like a crafting table. I'm not that good at it, so I'm not even going to try. And at this level right here, which will make it definitely sink down, look flat, is going to be your floor level. And this is actually the lowest point that you can build safely without having to interact with any of the redstone here. So, that's important. Now, if we come over here and grab this shulker box and throw it in here. Now we got a box in here. A full box of dust. If we take a button, I've got it over here, so, and place it right here. And I activate. Piston brakes. Did I get the... Oh, I forgot one thing. So where this piston is extended, we're going to place a solid block on it and a solid block next to this detector with the dust. That's it. I can't believe I forgot that. But once you get this set up and you have your system primed, and if your system's primed, it'll activate. Minecart gets dispensed. It picks up 3 stacks of items, shoots it towards here, locking the hopper minecart, preventing it from collecting here, and will process it. Break, all that gets splattered out. Minecart gets sent back up, collecting. If we look in here, we have a minecart. It is rare for the minecart to not go in first with this system, but it does happen. And I did everything I could to alleviate from that happening. And then let me just grab some scaffolding. And I'll extend it out here. And water bucket, because what's going to happen now is you're going to send all your items towards where you're going to be going at. And this is in a completely different direction than those two. Those two are in the same direction. This has been rotated 90 degrees. And it still has the same functionality. So, universal direction, non-directional crafter. But there's other things I plan on doing with this. So, and it's more of parts of the system we're going to be using. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comments section. If it's a major issue, I do recommend joining my Discord. Link to that will be in the description. If you want to support me, you can subscribe. And special thanks to the Judge Man for supporting me on Patreon. But you guys, this is the Redstone Wizard. Enjoy building.